Hi everyone, my name is Anthony Cummins and welcome to this video. Now if you're unaware, I have a different channel which is Nato Ryu, and on the Nato Ryu channel, which the link is below if you want to subscribe there and keep up to date, I have armour videos, only 1 or 2 minutes each, and I have a series on samurai and Japanese armour. So what I'm going to do though is every 10 episodes I'm going to put it here on the Anthony Cummins channel as one complete video. So it's just about to start in a second, which means you're going to get intro, video, outro, intro, video, outro, all the way through. So it's going to be the same because it's from another site and they're put up weekly. So if you want to see them weekly, click the link below. Of course, you can get a copy of the book in the link below. Please be aware that I had just gone back from Japan when I filmed all these and I was extremely ill. I got really ill on my trip to Japan, so I'm a little bit dazed and confused in some of these videos because I just had to get some videos out. So there's a couple of mistakes here and there which I can't really change now, but they're not great mistakes, they're small mistakes. But I hope you enjoy it. Of course, we're working from Book of Samurai #2, which has got an amazing scroll on armour with loads of original information, and that is now, again, you can grab the link below. So without further ado, here you go guys. This is episodes 1 to 10 of Understanding Samurai Armour. Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins. Welcome to this video. It's a Nato Ryu video, and all the information inside of this video is based on ancient scrolls from the mid-1600s. They were written by a man called Natori Sanjuro Masazumi, who's also very famous for being a ninja, but of course he was a high-ranking samurai. Natori Sanjuro Masazumi, also known as Isui Sensei, was writing in the 1650s onward. He is writing about a much earlier time. So he writes from the time of Kusunoki all the way up to his time. This series is going to focus on armour. Now, some of the armour in here are just pictures that we have taken from different volumes, different museum pieces, just to give you an example of them. These are not from, connected to Nato Ryu, only the information is. The first thing we're going to start with is the samurai helmet, the kabuto. So, what you may or may not know, or you may have seen or may not realised, is if you look at the top of some helmets, they have gold bands that go around. Now, some of these are just normal gold bands, but others are almost like 3 little swords coming down, and these are called shinadare. These are little Chinese-esque golden swords. However, the main thing to realise here is that they're in different amounts of bands or brackets or little channels. So here I'm going to talk about the main one first, the main one. The main one is 8 different golden sections. I'm going to put you a picture up here to show you the plan of the helmet. But each of these sections are golden, and there are 8 of them. Of course, in the middle is the opposite, the black colour. Now, what this means is that this helmet is of the element of Yo in the yin-yang theory. So if we've got the idea of the yin-yang symbol here, this helmet is called Yo no Kabuto. So Yo no Kabuto means it's a helmet of Yo energy, positivity, okay? So, as I say, we'll put another picture up here of an example of just the gold bands, and you can imagine that people will be counting, okay, there's 8 round the helmet. Now, often this is then put together with a crest at the front, what's a hoe crest, like a garden hoe, in the garden hoe shape with a dragon on. And the reason is this: dragons are often the element of yin, which is opposite, or can be. However, in spring, a dragon comes out of a water in Chinese mythology, whether it be a river, a lake, or the sea, and it rises up in an element of Yo. That's why you will see on these crests, you'll see an engraved dragon, and often this engraved dragon, if it's with its original helmet, remember it might not be with its original helmet, should have 8 different golden sections, or at least have the element of Yo about it. So, right, are you there? So this means that the person wearing this helmet is of pure power. He's like a rising dragon coming out in spring, and he's going to go and destroy everyone. So this is how you start to read the helmets in samurai armour. In opposition to this is Shiro Jiro, which only has 4 in it, and I'll put the plan there. Now basically this has an element of in, which is darkness, you know, femininity, negativity. It's not in the English word negativity, but basically it's the opposite of yo. However, what this means is that the other one, the one with 8 sections, looks in all 8 directions and it blazes like the sun, whereas this one looks in 4 directions and takes on the element of the moon. That doesn't mean the man is feminine or anything like that. It has to match his armour, you see, and his crest. So a lot of the times you can't have conflicting elements. So before we talked about the crest being a hoe, that is of the element of earth. The dragon upon it is a yo element, and earth is from the 5 element theory, but in and yo come before that. So the idea here is that the 8 section one is the idea it's in the yo section, the yang, and then the crest is of the element of earth, which is from the 5 aspects, and the dragon on it is yo. However, in this next one, the 4-way ones, it's of the in, it's opposite, and it has different crests on top of that. Maybe the moon crest will come in. There are lots of different ways that you can fit it together. I hope that's opened your eyes to the complexity of samurai helmets. So of course there's the parts, the name parts, the different sections, but there's also the esoteric meanings behind it. Now, if you want to read this information in its original form, but the English translation of that, then you can do. We're looking at Book of Samurai series, Arms, Armour and Tactical Warfare. It's the second one in the series, but you can read them all independently. So click the link below and get it now. It'll be there either for pre-order or straight for order, depending when you watch this video. But grab a copy and keep up to date with this series. Hello everyone, welcome to this, the Understanding Samurai Armour Part 2. Now today we're going to continue with helmets, but we're going to talk about fur on top of helmets. Have you ever been to a museum or looked through a catalogue and you've seen samurai helmets with fur on them? Now this is based on bear fur. It might not always be bear fur, but the idea is it's got the name from bear fur. Now in our school, which is Natoryu, we have something called Mobo no Koto, which is about helmets with hair. And what I'm going to do is take you through the 4 different types of fur-stroke animal aspects of helmets. The first one is shaguma. Now this means red bear fur. Of course, in old Japan, red was brown and brown was red, so basically it means brown fur. The next one is koguma. Now this is black fur. You often see this black fur on helmets or on armour. We see this quite a lot in samurai times. Next is haguma, which is white fur, and of course this is just literally white bear. Whether it is or isn't bear fur, you know, you'd have to go back and check the actual one. But the point is, it's got white fur upon it, or white, you know, animal skin, if you like. The last one is torige, which means bird feathers, and you can find feathers in the helmet in different formats, and that becomes this type of helmet. This is where we start to understand the principle of ikusa kotoba, which are words of war or bellicose language. Now that means you don't use the wrong type of language. For example, like the common one is you don't flee, you retreat. You don't give up, you have a tactical withdrawal. Okay, they're the types of things. It's the same in Japanese, but even more complicated. So the problem what we have here is that you never have 2 colours of fur. It's the same as your horse. You never have a horse with 2 different colours on it. It's okay to have, you know, a white background and 1 colour spotted on it, but not different colours all over it, you know what I mean, where there's multiple colours on a white background or whatever the background colour of the horse is. The point here is that you don't mix in 2 colours together, because it comes into a word called nigeru, which means fleeing, flee from. And the idea is that if you say, oh, it's that type, it's the fleeing type of helmet, you're like, oh, I don't flee, I'm afraid. Even though the word actually means something else, it sounds like you're saying that. So in ikusa kotoba, words of war, we don't like that type of thing. So it means that people on their helmets no longer mix colours. Okay, so you've got to be careful of that. You have a single bold colour. Right everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. Basically, all the information comes from Japan and it comes from ancient scrolls written in the 1650s. If you would like an English translation, you can get the book. It's called the Book of Samurai series. This one is Arms, Armour and Tactical Warfare. Click the link below and order your copy today. Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this Natori review video. We're going to be carrying on with our theme of understanding Japanese armour and we're going to continue with the helmet at the moment. In our school there's an element or a skill called Tatemono no Koto, things about helmet crests. Now what do we mean by helmet crests? Now you'll note on the front of helmets, whether they're on the top in Western styles or in Japan, you can sometimes see they've got a crest here. Well actually there are three different areas you can have a crest on. And these are those three. The first one is maedate, to the front. That means they're here, we've often seen them. Now in another video I'll go through the multiple types of those and the different ways they can be formed. However, in this video it's just the position at the front. The next one is wakidate, which is at the side. These are ones that are on the side. You don't see these as much as the maedate ones, but they do exist and they are there. The third and final one is ushirodate. Now these are the ones that you might not notice they are rear. They almost look like they're on top, but normally they are big, they are massive, they've got lots of different, paper mache if you like, or wooden carved type lacquered ideas. So they're quite light, but they're big, and sometimes you see the massive ones coming out from generals' heads. So they are actually ushirodate. They're actually on a base at the back here, not a base on the top, even though they come over the top and do something. So you've got maedate, wakidate and ushirodate, and those are the three different ways you can have crests on your helmet. Now I want you to remember that often helmets with massive crests weren't used in war. They were usually used as a banner, i.e. they'd have a war helmet and they'd have a crest that were kept on a kabuto date, which means kabuto stand. So you would have that and they'd carry it and say, here is Nobunaga or here is Takeda, that's what these would mean. So you could see from a long way around. Some were just clearly too big to be worn. Right everyone, the information from today comes from the 1650s onwards and they're all from scrolls in Japan. If you want to read the English translation you can do, it's here. It is called Book of Samurai, Arms, Armour and Tactical Warfare. Click the links below and get your copy today. Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this Understanding Samurai Armour Part 4. Now we're going to carry on today with the crests, the samurai crests. Remember you've got ones at the front, ones at the side and ones at the back. Today we're going to deal with the ones at the front and I'm going to give you the different types of them. So I'll put the names and the kanji on the screen for you to read. The first one we get is Hangetsu, the moon. Now this is the crescent moon. You've got to be careful here you don't mistake this one with the garden hoe, the hoe-shaped one, the agricultural tool. They have different meanings, so be very careful not to mix them up. The next one is Tentsuki, which means the crest that pierces the heaven. So it goes up and it pierces heaven. I'll put it here for you. And the idea is this one, it reaches up to heaven. This is actually not bad for archery because you don't get it trapped in the bow springs out and it's fine. So these are one of the ones that archers can use. Now the next one is Yabukuguri, which means to sweep back. Now the idea is it starts at the front but it sweeps back. Again, this is good for archers because it's out of the way. It's totally out of the way of your bowstring and you can keep going. So just be aware of that. The next one is Muko Gakari, and that is one that sweeps directly forward, so it's like the opposite to the other one. However, this is bad for archery. You can't use this for archery because your bowstring gets slapped straight on it. So this is normally not used by an archer. However, it do come out, it is at the front and it goes out that way. The last one is Kaka Ezuno, which means outwards and to the front. So the one before this was directly out. This one goes outwards and to the front. Again, I'll put the picture here. You can see most of them fit in the front Maiodate here, the horn crest. And they're actually called horns because of the four-legged animals. We'll go into that in a different lesson. But those are the main different types of shapes of Maiodate armour. Now, if you want to know where we got this information from, it all comes from original Japanese scrolls written in the 1650s. If you want to get the book and the translation in English and get this information, you can do. It's called the Book of Samurai series, and this is Arms, Armour and Tactical Warfare. So click the link below and get your copy today. Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this Natori Ryu video. Today we're going to be working from this book here, which is Samurai Arms and Armour, part of the Book of Samurai series of Natori Ryu, and I'm going to talk to you today about the Takahimo cord. Now the Takahimo cord, okay. Today there's a little bit of a difference in modern research. So most modern research will tell you that the Takahimo cord comes at the top of the body. However, in this document that we're using, which is Heigu Yoho, which was written in about 1660s, 1670s, somewhere around there, it says quite explicitly that there's starting to become mistakes in samurai ways and that people are starting to use the term Takahimo up here, and they say that's not right. Takahimo is at the side. So when you put your armour on, okay guys, there's a hinge on one side and there's the cord on the other that you tie it with, and according to this document the Takahimo is here on your side. Now the reason for that is you have the joint on your left side, because when you're shooting the bow like that, it can't pierce the you know, through the hole where you've tied the bow, so where you've tied the cord. So basically, that's how you always put armour on, the same way. And at the top here, you have aibiki cords. This is where the two sides meet, and then you tie them there, or toggle them on, and there's small clasps that go over them. And these are in the shape of leaves, and they're usually metal, and they go over and they protect those cords. So what we know is that in the 1660s, 1670s, probably 1670s, is that this manual is saying, actually, here, the Takahimo is on your side, and the aibiki is at the top. The Takahimo is not here. So what does this mean? So I had to go and check. We checked about 3 or 4, maybe 5 illustrated manuals around the same time from different schools, Ogasawara, and there's a few other schools that do it. One of the base schools that Shinkagi is on, you know, the Shinkagi school. All those documents, and it actually has Takahimo on the side, the same as Natori Ryu. And it seems that from the 1650s, say, onwards, they started to move the name of the cords about. Now, I know this does happen with other types of armour, European armour and things like that, but be aware that originally it looks like all Takahimo were on the side and this was aibiki. Later the name seems to have moved up to this area. So just be aware of that. So for Natori Ryu students, aibiki here and Takahimo. But be aware that other people will use that term to mean up here. So just be careful when you're talking about armour, which cord do you mean? The original position down at the side or the later position at the shoulders? Don't forget, get yourself a copy of the book. You can get it in the links below, and I hope you enjoy it and this study of armour. Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this video. This is a Natori Ryu video and we're understanding parts of samurai armour. So we're going to be working today from Samurai Arms and Armour from Watkins, which is the Book of Samurai series. The links to this book are below, so get yourself a copy and keep up to date. Right, what we're going to talk about today is the peak of a helmet. What do we know about the helmet peak? Okay, I've heard some things out there talked about how samurai would go with their heads forward, or samurai, you know, would do certain things. However, I can only speak for Natori Ryu itself as a tradition, but Natori Ryu, the tradition of, says that you should be a boar-necked warrior. By that I mean, you know, a wild pig, a boar. And the idea of this is meaning stout and firm and solid. But it says a warrior should have his head slightly back when he's advancing. He should not have it down like this because it's a sign of a coward. But he shouldn't have it up like this because you're going to get an arrow in the eye. So the book talks about the debate on how long a peak should be. Now there are a few examples of the wrong types of peaks, and in this it says, for example, that if the peak is too long and it comes down, you have to lift your head to see past it, because of course helmets drop. So the peak is at an angle and it drops too far. So that means you have to lift your head to see, which gives you an excellent sort of I'm a warrior. However, the angle is so slight that one arrow will hit you. And it talks about people who were retreating, looked back and got slammed with an arrow because they had to lift their peak up. At the same time, it says if the peak is too short, then the arrows can literally hit your nose on the peak. So it says that makes people put their head down, which when warriors look around, they can just see people bracing. So there's this ethos in samurai life that you should stand there, but there's also, you know, and you know, take the arrows on and move on. But there's also the ethos is don't look up, you're going to get an arrow in the eye. It's okay to take arrows on, but to take arrows in the eye is end of game, you're dead. So they do have the practicality. So don't be hiding. So it's okay to get behind cover and it's okay to cover your face, but don't do this. It's bad, you know, that's not good. So Isui Sensei, which is the third Grandmaster of Natori Ryu, states that you should go for a mid-length peak. He doesn't give the exact measurement of this, but basically the peak for you should be enough that you can brace yourself and it's slightly down, so any arrow coming in will be deflected off, or you know, it's not so you're looking up like that. So basically make sure when you measure yourself, your own nose, your own face and everything, when you get your armour made, make sure the peak is long enough that you can keep your head upright but be defended, but short enough that you don't have to do this, you know, to look up. So right, okay, that is the peaks of samurai helmet. But a little added extra is the fact that you should paint the inside red, or it's like a terracotta colour. The reason for this is that it gives the reflection, so if you're scared and you lose the blood in your face, that hopefully the light will drop red on your face to show that you've still got flush colour and you're brave. So that's a little bit of a sort of hidden tradition they do there in Natori Ryu. If you're interested in this type of thing, click the links below, get the book and keep up to date with this series. Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins, welcome to this video. Today we're going to be talking about kumogata, which is the decorative boundary upon the helmet. Now first of all, we're working of course in Natori Ryu, and we're working from Samurai Arms and Armour, as you can see here, and the links to the book will be down below, so get yourself a copy and keep up to date with the research we're doing. Samurai armour is slightly spiritual or inside of the divine. Everything is set up to give them power of chi. Now we've discussed this before earlier in the series, and the idea is that the armour is powered for you in the cycle of generation, the cycle of creation, the movement phase that you go into of power, so that with your horse you are aligned spiritually. But it also is a connection to the gods in a way. Now there are sacred boundaries. So if you're not aware of this, when you go to shrines and places like that in Japan, there are certain boundaries in place and certain elements that show a distinction between you and the divine. So for example, torii gates, when you go into a shrine, the idea is you go through a torii gate and you walk on the left or the right because the gods go in, and that you've entered a holy place. And it's the same for armor. So kumogata, these are actually cloud boundaries. They're boundaries to the gods, if you like. And of course, at the top of the helmet here, you get another boundary, which is called the Hachiman, which is the seat of Hachiman, the god. So, and it's the entrance for the 99,000 gods to enter into your body, the 99,000 gods of war, actually. But we'll do that in the next video. So what you have to realize is when you look at these little lines here, this is a boundary, a sacred boundary showing between you and the gods of war, if you like, giving you their protection or showing that there's sacredness inside your armor. So just be aware of little things like that. And the next video we'll move on to Hachimanza. Hello everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this video. Now we are doing Nato Ryu and we're using the book Samurai Arms and Armour, and you can get that book by clicking the link down below. Today we're going to talk about Hachimanza, which is the seat of Hachiman. So first let's discuss Hachiman. So Hachiman was a Shinto deity, a god, who according to the Buddhists, basically adopted Buddhism as his religion. So he was a god and he used Buddhism. So basically it meant they could cross over the shrines and the temples. Because remember, back in old Japan, there was no such distinction between shrine and temples so much. They would actually intermingle them. So Hachiman stands there as a Shinto god, but following the ways of the Buddha. Now, on samurai helmets, there's a hole at the top which is called tenku, and this hole is meant to be the opening to the, you know, the gods, if you like, and it allows the 98,000 gods of war to enter into you. This is not quite true, of course. There are multiple uses for it. One's a vent and one's a, a vent to let the air in and out and that type of thing. And another way is a specific way to take your helmet off, which we'll go into in another video, but that's sort of like Nato Ryu tradition, if you like. So we've got Hachiman, this god, and he is the patron god of warriors at this time. So Hachiman is the god of archery and things like that, and of course warriors follow the way of archery. So before, if you look back at the other scrolls, remember guys, if we go to Ippei-yoko, which is in Book of Samurai number 1, you roll the flag of Hachiman before the Hachiman temple and shrines, or wherever they're dedicated. Of course they were mixed at the time, and you roll it there and you pray to Hachiman, and of course you invite the gods of war into your head. Now what we've got here is something called Hachimanza, which is the seat of Hachiman, and it's the small golden rim around tenku, the hole. So you invite the gods in, and this is where Hachiman sits and uses like the war archery and everything and the protection he gives for warriors. So again, remember last time we did Kumogata, which is the decorative boundary here, and then you've got the Hachimanza, and it shows that there's a distinction between you and the gods, but also that there's a connection between you. And of course your armor is geared up for power, and it's geared up pointing upwards towards the heavens and inviting the gods to come in and infuse your body with power. So remember, we've got the Hachimanza, the seat of Hachiman here. It's not the vent, it's the decorative boundary around it, because it's a holy space where the gods come into you and give you war spirit. So it's a boundary which denotes the outside world and the world of the gods, okay? However, in Nato Ryu oral tradition, it states that possibly this was named after a warrior called Hachiman who became a saint, if you like, later. So it says there are a few theories. Maybe it's not named after the god, could be named after this warrior. People are not sure. Of course, these things are lost in the history of time, and these were the commentaries and the ideas that were going around in the 1600s through their traditions being passed down. So people were unsure where it comes from. But we pretty much take it as Hachiman the god, but it could be also from a saint-like warrior. Okay guys, if you want to follow on with the series, make sure you get the Book of Samurai number 2, and the link is below, so click that and keep up to date. Hello everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this video. This is a Nato review video and we're going to be using Samurai Arms and Armour, the Book of Samurai series number 2. Now, today we're going to be talking about the ring on the back of a helmet. If you look at samurai helmets, there's a small ring on the back. Now remember, samurai helmets evolved over a long time and they're not the same, they change with each period of samurai history. Now originally this ring had a cord called the agemaki attached to the back. Now this is red and it's it brings about images of fire, the east, the rising sun. You can also find this cord on the back of Oyoroi armour, which is grand ancient armour, and you can see in between the shoulder blades at the back there you can see this red cord, and it's actually based on the old style hair of ancient Japan. It's an ancient Japanese hairstyle. However, things fall in and out of favour and some things come back, some things go out. Now in the warring periods, this used to be called Kasa Jirushi, which means Kasa is hat, Jirushi marker. So what they did is they took the agemaki cord off it and they put ring markers on it. And what this means is you could put your troop name or your identification marker on the back of your helm so that people could see you. And especially if it was a white piece of cloth at night when you're on a night raid, the enemy can't see you coming, but your friends can see you at the back. Okay, this actually happens in World War I. They still have this in World War I in the trenches where they used to put mirrors on the back of soldiers so the people in the trenches could see the reflections. It's the same type of things. So this is called Kasa Jirushi and the cord is called agemaki. This is from a section called Kousho no Kan no Koto within Natori Ryu, and the idea of this is that you learn how to use this ring at the back. Ceremonial times you'll have the agemaki on it. In night raids you'll switch it over to your marker, or if you're in the middle of a battle you sometimes switch to marker. There are different lessons for this. Now I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, click the link below and get the book and keep up to date with our series. Hello everyone, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this video. This is a Natori review video. Now I want to talk to you today about the tops of the shoulders. So we're going to be working from Samurai Arms and Armour, which is here, and you can get a copy of it by clicking the link below. Now, okay, if you remember, we talked in the past about the Takahimo cord, which is at the side here, which you tie your armour together, and then you've got the Ibiki cords here, which are cords that connect the back. There's a toggle, and you come up there, and these are called gyoyo. Now, or gyoyo no kan, which means the metal of the gyoyo, or gyoyo metal. Now, these are originally named off the leaves of plum trees, which is gyoyo, and what they did is you'll see them often in the shape of plum leaves. There, and some of them are beautifully decorated, and they're there to stop sword cuts coming in and cutting across the cord, or basically when people are fighting with spears, they're to stop them coming across there. So make sure you just have a quick look at the samurai armour and you'll see them on there. So next time you're in a museum or something, see them there. And these are clasps that come off, and then if they're off you can see the cords are there, and then you can start unbuckling them. Remember, keep up to date with us, click the link below and get a copy of the book and see if you enjoy the way of Nato Ryu and Arms and Armour.